Good morning and welcome to our July learning series from the Reynolds Company. Thanks for joining as always. And as we were just saying there, we do record these sessions. So we are being recorded and we do make them available afterwards for either you to go back and review or to share with your colleagues. So today our topic in July is going to be an I/O platforms update. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our presenters. Up first will be Mark McGinnis, Automation Specialist with the Reynolds Company, who will do a kind of a general overview on the I/O platforms from Rockwell. And then we'll turn it over to Tae Kim with Rockwell Automation to present. But the real highlight of today is the brand new 5034 Point I/O platform that will be launching here very soon. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mark.
Good morning, everyone. I want to talk about our traditional I/O devices, and then Tae Kim will talk about the new Point Max I/O 5034 Point Max. But just a quick overview on our existing I/O platforms. Needless to say that 1746 SLC I/O is completely discontinued, has been. I know there's a lot of 1746 still in operation, but it is not included in this list because it is discontinued. We start off with the 1756 ControlLogix I/O. This is very reliable, full featured. It's the flagship product for Rockwell Automation. Allen Bradley remains the flagship product. 1756 ControlLogix I/O has been with us for roughly 25 years at this point and is still going strong. 1769 Compact I/O actually came out in the 1997 timeframe. So it's been around for about 27, 28 years. At that time, it was run on the MicroLogix 1500, and then later was adapted to the CompactLogix, like in the year 2002, 23 years ago. But so needless to say, both of those I/O platforms have been around for 25 years and are still going strong. We will move away from 1769 Compact I/O, but it'll probably because there's more full-featured I/O available, not because Compact I/O is not available. So the new I/O to replace the Compact I/O is the 5069 Compact I/O, what we call Compact 5000. And it is the next generation of Compact I/O. Next slide, please. We've got 1734 Point I/O, and Tae Kim is going to talk about the 5034 Point Max, which is the new derivative of the 1734 Point I/O. But 1734 Point I/O is still available. It's been a strong seller for, over 25 years. We got 1794 Flex I/O. It has been around for, 27 years, 28 years. I think the first adapter that came out on that was a remote I/O adapter and DeviceNet adapters for 1794 Flex. So it goes back a ways, and it's been around for 25, 27 years. It's still available and will be available. The new derivative of the Flex I/O is the 5094 Flex 5000 I/O. This came with a a lot of features that the 1794 Flex does not have. So if, moving from, for new projects today, we would go with the 5094 Flex 5000 IO, not the 1794 Flex. But I know there's a lot of existing applications out there with the 1794 Flex, and it is still available. For process I/O, we've got 1715 redundant I/O. So this is ideal for ControlLogic's high availability SIL2 applications. We would go with the 1715 redundant I/O. We've got for on-machine I/O, we've got the Armor Block 5000. The previous product was the 1732E Armor Block, and now we've got the 5032 Armor Block 5000. The feature set in these products is amazing. The Armor Block 5000 will serve as IO master, and it comes with it's full featured. One model is offered with configurable IO. It's IP69K rated. You just bolt it straight to the machine. It's rated for washdown. So that's the new Armor Block product. Next slide, please. Our process I/O is the 59. Our new process I/O is a 5094 Flex 5000 to be used in process. You notice it also has safety on it, and then we have the new Flex HA 5000, the 5015 Flex HA 5000. This is redundant I/O. The redundancy takes place in the rack of this. So that's the Flex HA 5000 redundancy I/O. So I believe with that, we're going to turn it over to Take Him. Oh, excuse me, we've got the condition monitoring I/O, the Dynamics 1444. This I/O is for condition monitoring, whether you're monitoring temperature or vibration or pressure. It's got analog modules with it as well. And then we've got a variety of I/O from Encompass partners, Spectrum Controls being one of them. We've got our I/O wiring systems. This makes it wiring the I/O rather foolproof. You just snap these wiring I/O systems into the cabinet, and you can be assured that your I/O is wired correctly. All right, with that, we'll turn it over to Take Him, who will talk about Point Max. Point Max 5000 is just now being released. In the next couple of months, it'll be available for customers, but we're educating customers on it today. So, thank you for presenting this.
No problem. Glad to help. I'm Take Him. I work for Rockwell Automation. I'm a technology consultant. Point Max will be our newest I/O platform. So I'm going to talk about today what it is, technical overview, design capabilities, and some resources. Now, 1734.io is getting old, so we need to develop new IOs that's going to allow our customer to compete in global market. And also space is becoming premium, so make it denser. And then more and more customers asking for data. So we're going to be delivering gigabit speed. And so we're going to have a lot more higher speed and bandwidth. And then also while we are releasing it, we are releasing 90% plus point IO. We can cross it in initial release. Now, also, if you are familiar with point IOs, like especially, let's say encoder, then you have IJ, IK, VHC. So you have many different combinations of modules for particular applications. Now we're gonna just have a ENC, encoder module. They can encompass absolute, SSI, incremental, quadrature, all those in one simple package. So it's gonna also reduce BOM counts. And so I really want to talk about like the development process a little bit. So what product development team did was, okay, what were the issues we are customers facing with the 1734? All the anomaly reports, all the issues. So this is where it really helps if customer call tech support for unknown issues. So we collected all that and then we tested it against point max IO. So we already did a lot of testing that had issues on 1734. So I can tell you like one of them was like radio. Customer will use like Motorola radio right next to the module, and sometimes it'll hiccup. Now it's meeting all the specifications, but team went ahead and did additional improvements. Now the other thing is when you add 1734 ANTR adapter, now you have to define the chassis size, and then you have to go to web page and define it again. Now the new point max, you just add to IO tree. That's it. You just add that however many you're gonna use, up to 32. And then the other one is power management was always an issue with point IO as you grow number of modules. So you may have to have a 1734 PDN power supply. We really made it simplified on this one. And so that's how we are able to save space. And then also, I'll talk about it a little bit later on other ones, but clearance, technically, I was demoing automation fair last year, and I had no issues whatsoever on live. Like, for example, I pull out the IO module on a 1734, depending, and it may crash it because slot ships while it's running. Now we got rid of that issue. It doesn't do that. So again, Gigabit, it supports DLR and it also supports PRP, and up to 32 modules in any configuration, meaning it could be like all safety, it could be all encoders, it could be all serial modules, so any combinations. And then so to add power after 16th module, you add those right here to power the rest of the modules. But let's say you have a sensor and actuators because you have a relay output that's drawing a lot of current, so it's ready for 10 amp. Then you can add terminal blocks with this SA power attached. So now that's going to eliminate quite a bit of spacing issues for you. They are all, so we're going to have 16. So here we are showing 16 inputs. So point IO 8 inputs. So you're going to get a lot higher density that way too. And we're going to have a 8-channel analogs. And we're going to also have a isolated hot analog. So if you need analog input, then you want to look at the hot analog, especially isolations. And then for now safety, we have a digital in and digital out. But future release, we're going to have analog inputs, relay outputs, and output sourcing type. And it'll be all CL3 PLE. And like I said, we're going to have one encoder that's going to support multiple ones. And then obviously we're going to have a Modbus support. And then IO link. So IO link is 4 channels, but we're going to give you also 4 configurable IO points. What that means is you can configure it as inputs, outputs, high-speed input, PWM, PTO. So you're going to get a lot more options. So now operating temperature-wise, you are looking at -25 to 60 when it's mounted horizontally. Now you can mount it any other orientation you want. You're gonna lose 60 degrees C to 55 degrees C. Now you don't need BOOP to configure this IP address. You're gonna be using Rockwell software, and then Android phone or iPhone has a NFC, near field communication. So that's what it's gonna use to configure IP address and modules as well. Again, gigabit, less than 1 millisecond screw-to-screw performance, and remove insert under power just like point IOs. One advantage here is when you remove, slot number doesn't shift and crash your system. And it's gonna give you a spring or screw type. And also you can get an additional shield termination mounted on the bottom. So you can terminate all the analog shields on the bottom as well. So it's gonna only work with our newer compact logics and control logics. So if you are using 1769, it's not gonna work. Just wanna make sure that. And also Studio 5000 version 36 or later. Now you customer may say like, hey, what if new module come out? Do I have to upgrade? For example, here's like safety analog in. These are future release. Well, second release. So what we're gonna do in that case is we're gonna make it backward compatible. So all the future module release will support from 36 and above. And also you're gonna get XT variant, so conformally coded. Also ASTM. So I guess it's a little more tougher specification now. So we'll meet that as well. Temperature rating wise, it's going to be the same. It's just gonna get the corrosive resistant coating on it. So here's the actual catalog that we are planning to release one. So IB16, IB8, OB16. So we are taking order now. So we have a universal digital module. So what this can be is, it's 8 points. I go, hey, I want 6 of my inputs to be input and 2 to be output. Then we can configure it that way. And it also support PTO, PW, and a bunch of other stuff as well. Hey, I need to read it high speed. Then you just order fast ones. That's gonna get down to sub-millisecond range. And analog modules also high density, right? IFAV and OF4, and here's a specialty module. And so terminal blocks, you're gonna get some choices here, but mainly spring and screw. And then you're gonna have an expansion power every 16th module. And then you're gonna have a SA power for that bottom, that black connector. And then our in-house partners are also making modules for them. And so weighing, strain gauge, hot instrument, we have some source and sinking, and PTO by AMCI. We natively support it. PWM and resolver interface. So maybe old resolver type application. Now we can bring that as well. So before I go, somebody asked me, when can I buy this? And this morning only, and you can buy now, but we're not gonna be able to ship it until October. So somebody asked me, hey, what's the price? So I'll share list price. So here's a 5034 IB16, it's a 281. If I get 1734 IB8, it's 195. So you get twice density, right? AENTR 850, 1734 AENTR. So pricing wise, I think we're gonna charge a little premium compared to Point IO, but it's going to be close. So just want to show you that info just in case you are curious. So it's a 3-piece design, and you do need this. This is actually used to hold a slot number. So when you yank it out, the slot number doesn't go away. And this will be the module, and this is the spring or screw. And on the other side of this here, you got actually this module here, you're gonna have a wiring diagram. So you clearly see how it's wired. So if you're not sure how wiring's supposed to go, you can just yank it out. Look at the other side of this module, then you'll have that wiring information already built in. So yeah, 1 gigabit backplane. So you do need that 3 pieces. Now this is not hot swappable. I had a customer ask me during the automation fair, can you take it out? Answers yes. And then you just lose everything over here. And it was hot swappable, but don't do it. That customer was really curious. So they made it really well, made this really bulletproof, I think, so far for the initial release. And this was the shield termination I was talking about. So you can actually have a termination close to analog inputs. So that reduces noise, right? And then you can also attach some custom labeling up here, and we'll have part number for that. So you can kind of see like it's really narrower, and this module here, and then also shallower. So what this means is 1 inch clearance all the way. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. So that's going to reduce your panel space. And then if you are using junction box with the minimal band radius, it's less than 4 inch here. So, and then there's a little bit of bottom clearance for the panel mount. So again, I said any orientation you want, horizontal up to 60 degrees C, and any other orientation will be minus 55 degrees C. And we do have certifications for most. Now this will be class 1 deep 2. And so here's a comparison of safety IO. So point max safety IO is only 1 slot. Safety IO traditional always took 2 slots. And then I had to worry about temperature separation. This just, you can have all safety IOs all the way. So there's really no limitations. So 16 inputs, 16 out, 4 relays, 8 digital ins, 8 digital out, 4. So quite typical application remote IO that I see. Now, if you use 16 IO points, it's going to shrink down to 6 inches. And if you decide to use 8 points, because 16 points wiring becomes a little bit more challenging. So we'd have a terminal block that can go right of it to help facilitate wiring. So that's another option that you can purchase if you decide to go to 16 points. And that also, as you can see, that was quite a bit of substantial saving earlier. So this is gonna give you pretty good. And then you don't have to use this power distribution model. So this goes away too. So simpler BOM, reduced cost, and then everything's kind of color coded right here, so much easier to wire. And again, it's gonna have little door right here. And then you can set the IP address using this right here. And the other thing is you can actually turn on and off LEDs. So when the enclosure is closed, you can have it turn it off. Obviously, you'll have to have a switch or some maybe HMI, but that's going to help reduce electric consumption. I guess a few watt here and there could add up if we are talking about entire planet, right? So near field, removable terminal blocks, usual stuff. And so this was what I was talking about. It's going to be available in September, and we're going to be using Rockwell configuration software to set the IP address. And then one of the dip switch will be used for with a PLP. So that's a parallel redundancy protocol. I guess that's a step up from DLR. So if I'm migrating control net and I want to have that same higher media redundancy and whatnot, then PLP will be probably what I look at. So, but here's a DLR. So by the way, this will also allow you to do product registration. And then you can also look at fault code. And then we'll be adding more capacities. And that's going to really help running it. And so again, so network topology wise, so here's a traditional DLR. Then this is most popular. And then star, and I see this a lot on warehouse conveyor application, that linear. And then we have a parallel redundancy protocol right here. And so this will give you, if this switch goes out, I can still communicate. If this cable breaks, I can still communicate. And there's no drop in data. It's just going to be seamless. So that's going to give you highest availability of your field IOs, remote IOs. So, and it's going to also support the redundancy through DLR or parallel redundancy protocol. Again, this will give you higher availability. So now you can kind of deduce from here. Now in the future, this point IO max can actually replace 1769, 1734, 5069, and many of those, right? And then the configuration AOP will look just like 5069 IO, compact IO, or 5094 compact IO, but Flex 5000 IO, our much newer product. So only thing is right now SIS on release, but eventually we'll be supporting that as well in the future. So beauty of that is now if you're a controls engineer, you'll be dealing with mainly one IO platform. So that helps. Panel building, same way, less parts number, same IO platform consistently. And it helps also electricians wiring because now he's mainly dealing with one IO platform. And so we are trying to make it really simple for our customer to deploy IOs in the future. So here's a little more gory detail. So it's going to be snap-on. So this is actually act as a address reserve module that on point IO. Now this backplane is going to do the same thing. And then you can electronically key in, and you can also buy. So this will be a separate part number with the SA power feed. So you can carry additional currents for the rest of the 16. So here's a good example right here. So I'm going to feed my sensor and actuator power here. And then this used up all of my sensor and actuator 10 amps. So rather than putting this over here, I could buy terminal base with this built in. Then I can carry the rest of the 10 amps right here. Now, module power will power all the way up to 16 here. And if I need additional 16, I just put this module in here, and that picks up the SA and module power, and then continue. So here we are, all these modules are, 16 modules are using less than 10 amps. So we don't have to purchase this. So it's gonna make it really simple, clean, reduce panel space. I think our product team did a very good job on this. And so I'm gonna go through some modules. So 8 and 16 inputs and outputs. If you just use 4 points, 2 amps, we have a isolated relay outputs, counter functions. So this can act as a simple counter, right? So it's going to be obviously not gonna work as high as high-speed input, high-speed encoder. But I did wrote a simple A quad B logic, and it worked pretty well. So running at low speed. So it's got electronic output. It's got timestamp. So every module is gonna have a timestamp. And universal digital module. I'm kind of excited about this one, 16 in and out, but I can also use it as count. I can use it as an event. So if I want to have a box going by and I want to trigger and capture that data along with, and right here, then I can also schedule the output maybe every 1 second, every 2 seconds, and then pulse width modulation and a PTO. Then I can go to stepper driver, and then I'll even like indexing encoder like our Kinetics 5100, and then I just use that to control. Again, minimum RPI is 200 microseconds. So we have a fast input. Fast input can actually get down to 10 microseconds. And then so we can do event-driven schedule the outputs here. So analogs are coming 4 and 8 channels. They are not isolated. Response time is 500 microseconds with one channel. And if we are using all channels and enabled, then 1.5 milliseconds. So it's going to give you 16-bit accuracy. Again, 200 microseconds. So you kind of see the theme, like it's a high speed at a much higher than point IO. And then that's going to come into play in safety as well. So analog output, 500 microseconds, and one channel, 1.5 milliseconds, all channels are activated. So point IO link module only gave you 4 points. Now with point max, you're gonna get 4 IO link channel plus 4 fast digital configurable channels. Now this could be used as trigger, and this could be used as input to all outputs, however you want to configure. And so here's an example of IO link and bringing data. So all this data is going to be available. And then you can back up that data and restore to next sensor. So you don't have to manually configure it. So somebody asked me what version of IO link 1.13. So class A. So IO link has a class A and class B. Class A, it falls back to the older mouse configuration. It'll have an event. So auto discovery, and then you can also register IODD. So that's a data file, like EDS file. And so let's see. So it's going to support precision time protocol, so you can better time stamp it. And you can actually explicit message to device if you choose to. And so here's an example of IO link cycle time. Time stamp accuracy to 500 microseconds. If you need really high speed, maybe you want accurate timestamp, and maybe use that digital input, configure it, and now you are looking at 10 microseconds. So here's a hot module. So this configures just like 5094, our Flex 5000 hot module, and it's isolated. So if you need isolated analogs, and this will be the only option for now. And it supports hot version 5, 6, and 7. Each channel can be configured. So all our IO modules can be all configured as current voltage. And in this case, includes hot. So safety IO, this is another major enhancement. Now you can kind of look at it. It's half the width of the point IO. And PLE, so that will be the highest. 7 millisecond reaction time. So that's much faster than the point IO. So what this means is you can put the light curtain a little bit closer. So save some factory floor space. You can configure the output as standard output, or as a power supply to power sensor, muting lamp. So all these options are available. And output again, little bit of derating here just to know 60 degrees C, only half amp, but otherwise it's gonna work just like the other one and much faster safety reaction time. And it's gonna support 2 modes, safety mode and safety pulse mode. So encoder, I think another bang up job here. 1 megahertz counting frequency and pulse width modulation and PTO function as built in. And we can do counting, window, latching function. So here's a serial module, master slave, ASCII. So you can kind of see here terminal base, wiring, 22 to 16 gauge, ferrule. So if you want to go read more about it, so these are already available. Like I said, you can order now. We won't be able to ship it till October, but we are taking order now. There's a technical manual if you want to start developing for newer projects. And we also made it convenient for the integrated architecture builder. So that's what I use to configure our modules. So drag and drop, right? So this is a free software that Rockwell share with the customers, so they can use this to make sure that system sizing is okay. So like here now I know how much spacing it's taking, how much power it's using. So I don't have to worry about SA power calculation. And so I use that quite a bit.
All right, thanks.